In the Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 23, verses 8 through 11, we find the following teaching of Jesus. But you are not to be called Rabbi, for you have one teacher and you are all students. And call no one your father on earth, for you have one Father, the one in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah. Church leaders were, of course, given titles in the New Testament. To begin, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 speaks of apostles, prophets, evangelists, and pastors as gifts given to the church by Jesus. Apostles were those who were eyewitnesses to Jesus' ministry, death, and resurrection. Prophets were those who spoke words God had given them to speak. Evangelists were itinerant preachers who shared the gospel, and pastors were those who cared for God's people. However, these were not official titles given to church leaders. These, in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11, were job descriptions. The apostles used three titles for church leaders. A leader could be called an episkopos, usually translated into English as bishop. An episkopos is one who watches over an aspect of community life, ensuring the community is remaining faithful to that which has been required by God. A church leader could also be called a presbyteros, usually translated as elder. This title was meant to describe a person experienced in the faith who could be trusted to serve in any number of positions of responsibility. Some were preachers and teachers, others were episkopoi, watching over an aspect of community life. And finally, a church leader could be called a diakonos, usually translated as deacon. A diakonos was a servant and described a person whose responsibilities in the Christian community were similar to those of servants in Roman households. As a title, the word poimen, that is shepherd, or in Latin pastor, was used only of Jesus in the New Testament. The essence of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 is that some church leaders have pastoral responsibilities, which is consistent with St. Peter's teaching in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 1 through 4, when he instructed elders to tend the flock of God that was in their charge. But even so, St. Peter called these leaders elders and not shepherds or pastors. These terms were chosen by the apostles in submission to Jesus. Jesus forbid the title rabbi, which means great one and is literally translated as reverend today. He forbid the title father, which is a position which requires honor in the Ten Commandments, and he forbid the title instructor or teacher. According to Jesus, these were God's roles in the church. That is, God himself, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, is the only rabbi or reverend. God the Father is the only Father, and Jesus the Son is our only instructor or teacher. By this we are meant to understand that no leadership role in the church grants a human the authority which has been reserved for God, not in greatness, not in honor, and not in wisdom or intelligence. What should church leaders be called? They should be called overseers, elders, or servants. Only God himself should be called reverend. Only God the Father should be called Father, and only Jesus the Son should be called professor or pastor. These are the teachings of the Scriptures.